I know what it feels like to wake up every single day and think, am I good enough? Am I doing good enough? Will anyone want me in life? If we don't feel like we've got much value or like we don't offer much, then we start to move into self-sabotaging behaviors that don't help us feel good or make progress in life. The 10 confidence hacks that have changed my life forever and that will change your life forever.
You actually have to learn how to push yourself. You have to learn how to leverage the power of your decisions, and you've got to learn how to take action when you don't feel like it.
Welcome to the 1 in a Million podcast with me, your host, Millie Cvjetkovic. This is your go-to destination for empowering conversations on mastering confidence in both body and mind. Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 in a Million podcast. We are talking confidence today. I know what it feels like to wake up every single day and think, am I good enough? Am I doing good enough? Will anyone want me in life? And it's true because we are all wired in a way that makes us want to feel a sense of belonging as humans. We want to feel accepted. We want to feel like we've got our tribe. We want to feel connected to others. Even if you're an introvert, humans are social creatures. We are social beings. And so we can feel absolutely at the lowest of our low points when we don't feel accepted by others, or when we don't feel like we've got a community where we feel safe and loved. And the way that we can feel safe and loved is by truly knowing that we've got our own worth, that we have so much value to offer to the world, to people around us. If we don't feel like we've got much value or like we don't offer much, like our existence is a little bit pointless, to be frank, then we can start to feel really low within ourselves. And then we start to move into self-sabotaging behaviors that don't help us feel good or make progress in life. So we need to really make sure that we have confidence, not only to allow us to do the things that are going to make us feel more fulfilled, have better human connection, feel accomplished. Because if you don't have confidence to do the challenging things that would make you feel even more confident, it's a hole that you're stuck in forever. Now, there's a few things in life that have helped me to become more confident. For context, when I was younger, I was a fat kid. I was the kid that used to get bullied all the time. I hated how I looked. I wasn't in the popular group. I used to wear really baggy, oversized t-shirts, only black clothes. I had a little bit of an emo phase, right? Winged eyeliner every single day. But I used to really hide myself behind makeup and almost like a personality type where I would say that I'm unbothered. Like, I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm just happy being me. Oh, I don't care what he said or that he insulted me, because it was like a protection mechanism. Ultimately, though, I would have loved to have been accepted into the friendship group. I would have loved to have felt confident within myself. And so now I'm going to tell you the way that you can strip back that kind of facade, that persona that you put on, where you're pretending that you feel okay. And instead you can get honest about, okay, here's where I'm lacking confidence. Here's where I don't feel up to scratch, or I don't maybe feel good enough. And now I'm going to start to change that, to truly wake up each day and be like, I actually love me. Like, I'm actually so happy and proud of the person that I am. It is such an incredible feeling, because when you achieve that, you don't as much search for validation from others. As I said, we're social creatures. We're always going to want to feel a sense of belonging and a sense of validation from others, but we don't feel like our happiness depends on it. So firstly, the easiest way that you can build your confidence is by doing something difficult every single day. And it doesn't have to be anything big, but it can be something which feels like it requires effort. Last year, I committed for 30 days to do a yoga pose, a hand balance for 30 days. First thing in the morning, when I woke up, I just had a glass of water, just trying to get myself hydrated and woken up. And I just tried to hold that pose for 30 seconds. And over time, I got stronger and stronger and stronger and more confident. And then I was going into my yoga classes, doing these headstands, hand balances. It was such a huge sense of accomplishment from literally something that took me like a minute to a couple of minutes every single morning. Recently, it's been my cold showers, right? I would say 2 to 3 months ago now, I started having a cold shower every single morning. I don't like it. Like, I don't enjoy that process. But afterwards, I feel so invigorated, not only because of all the benefits of cold water exposure. If you want to know about that, then go and watch the cold water or cold exposure benefits podcast from Dr. Andrew Huberman. But there was something about jumping into a cold shower every single morning. It's not a fun thing to do, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That means that every day you're building resilience because you've done a hard thing that you said to yourself that you were going to do. And also you feel a sense of accomplishment if you're improving. Now you can't really, I guess you can improve at a cold shower. You can either stay in the water for a little bit longer or expose yourself to colder water. But just like developing a skill, like as humans, we get dopamine as a reward from doing something hard. Dopamine is our neurotransmitter, which makes us feel great. So by doing hard things and challenging things, we feel great afterwards. It's the same thing when we have endorphins released after doing a really tough workout. So if you can find something challenging to do each day, no matter how small, as I said, for me, a yoga pose, a cold shower, these tiny little things will start to build your confidence. You will start to feel like, wow, I'm not just a lazy piece of shit. I've actually done something and I'm getting better at it. And accomplishment is the start of feeling confident. If you are a busy, career-driven woman and you know that your inability to lose the body fat that you want to lose is stopping you from living a confident, successful life, then hear me out. We have just launched our Fat Loss Accelerator program, which is made specifically for women who are constrained for time, yet they want to lose anywhere between 10 to 25 pounds of body weight within 90 days. Throughout this process, we're also going to teach you exactly what you need to know so that you can maintain this result forever, that it's the lifestyle changes and the habits that you need to implement for the rest of your life to finally become that confident and successful woman who excels in all areas of her life. So if you're interested in finding out more about our Fat Loss Accelerator program, then send me a message on Instagram. Send me the words Fat Loss Accelerator. My Instagram is millie@teamcbm. The link is in description below, and I will get back to you with all the information that you need to know. Back to the episode. The next thing that you need to do, whether it be fun or not, is take responsibility for everything, for the situation that you are in. If you do not take responsibility and you're constantly saying, oh, it's because this has happened to me, or it's because of these people in my life, or life has imposed this thing on me. Okay, I get it. Like, I have a chronic illness, right? I wouldn't necessarily say me getting that is my fault. I'm not trying to trigger anyone here. But how I live with my chronic illness and how I perceive it is my fault. So I'm taking ownership of that, right? So to an extent, you have to take ownership for everything. There is something so freeing when you can say, let's say, the way that I handle my finances, I'm not happy with that. It leaves me feeling unstable, uncertain, worried. And that's because of the actions that I take, because I'm not taking good enough actions. Versus someone who doesn't take ownership would say, I don't get paid enough, or my parents never taught me how to handle my money, or the government takes all of our money as taxes. Just get real and take ownership. It's you and you only that is going to be able to affect anything. So get real with yourself and take ownership for everything that you're dissatisfied with. And when you can be like, all of this is my fault. Do you know, it's not meant to make you feel bad. If you do feel bad, you're seeing it through the wrong lens. So stick with me here. When you take ownership for everything, it empowers you because you are then able to change it. If it's all your fault and your actions are the reason that you're in that position, it also means the reverse, that your actions can get you out of that position. Everything that you want is within your hands. It's within your grasp. But you have to take accountability for the fact that you're in these situations first. I thought about this point when I wrote it down, and I was like, well, that's a bit of a big point that I think some people are just gonna laugh at, or maybe we'll switch the podcast off at this point. But I thought it's true, because this is ultimately what has helped me become so confident, which is fixing my deepest, darkest problems, right? The things that I am most ashamed of and unconfident of. It only has brought me true happiness to acknowledge and fix those things, and true confidence. Being fat and out of shape, acknowledged it, fixed it. Even though it wasn't like a deep, dark, hidden secret, but one of those was my binge eating. I'll never forget the first time that I told someone that I had a really bad binge eating disorder and that I couldn't stop emotionally eating, and that I'd gone to a therapist. Actually, the therapist was the person that I told first, and after that I confided in who was an ex-partner at that time. And the relief that just came over me, because I was like, wow, she's finally doing the work to acknowledge those problems. And the same thing has gone in the years since, going to life coaches or other mentors and saying, I'm so not happy with this situation, or I'm so in the shit here. And when you acknowledge those deep, dark problems and you speak to someone about them, and then they can point you in the right direction so you can get help, or they can help you themselves, it is so freeing and liberating. Because guys, imagine if I hadn't ever even just started with speaking to the therapist about the fact that I had a binge eating problem. Do you think I'd be here in shape, having coached hundreds of women to achieve their dream bodies? Well, obviously not, because I'd still be stuck in my own ways because I never acknowledged it and never got the help. So literally by facing your deepest, darkest problems and getting help for them is how you build confidence. Probably one of the most important ways. Then kind of off the back of that, get into amazing shape. Get into incredible shape. Look healthy, be healthy. We know that an impressive physique is a sign of hard work, discipline, health. It is truly respected. You cannot buy an amazing body. You have to earn it. We are naturally, as humans, biologically, always going to be engineered to be most attracted and most drawn to what represents a good picture of health, because that's what we're engineered to do. We're engineered to survive, reproduce. That's biology. So when we look at someone who looks healthy, they look strong, they look fit, they look like they could survive anything, that's attractive. And then if you have a body like that, what does it attract? It attracts similar people of a higher caliber, people who put in that discipline, that hard work. I could not imagine, because it's been such a long time, but I could not imagine being transported back into the body of where I was when I first started this journey. Guys, like, I literally used to get bullied as a child. I'd be called the fat kid, pizza face, moon face, because I was overweight. People would look at me differently. The PE teachers would look at me differently. Everyone knew she was the fat kid. Everyone knew she was the fat friend on holiday. No guys would look at me. And I'm not surprised, because as I've literally just said, it's biology. It's how humans are engineered to respect those who respect themselves. And if you are out of shape, overweight, you do not respect yourself enough to change, to become someone that's going to live a long, healthy, happy life. I've recorded already an episode on the 4 biggest lies that the fitness industry is telling you. And there's a lot on there in and about the body acceptance movement, and how a lot of it is BS. Because ultimately, by you getting into amazing shape, the doors that it unlocks in your life is ridiculous. And this is me just coming from someone who's been on both sides. I've been incredibly out of shape, and I've also been very much so, as I am now, in really good shape. And let me tell you, on this side of the fence, life is so much better. So much better. So do the work. Get into incredible shape. And if you need help to do that, hello, I'm here. I would love to help you. Imagine 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line, being unrecognizable because of you investing into you. It's just so exciting. Every single time I think about it and I have a discovery call with someone who changes their life and they're like, right, I'm going to get into that body that I want because I know the rest of their life is going to be just so much better after that point. You are not what you do. Sorry, that's wrong. You are not what you say you are going to do. You are what you do. Do what you say you're going to do. Because every single time you don't, you're disrespecting yourself and you're giving yourself a stack of evidence that keeps building and building and building to say that you ain't shit. You just talk. You're all talk and no action. We know those people that can talk and talk and talk and they've got nothing to show for it. Don't be one of those people. Don't break promises to yourself. Because if you break promises to yourself, then what do you lack? You lack self-respect. If you lack self-respect, then you're never going to be able to get to the position where you have enough confidence for other people to respect you. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And this is something where I have the conversation with myself all the time. I have such high expectations of myself. Work hard, train hard, be this person for everyone. And it's hard. You're a mother, you're a sister, you're a coach, a business owner, whatever you are. It's hard, but do what you say you're going to do. Because if you don't, you're letting yourself down or you're letting everyone else down. And if you're saying that you're going to do too much, reset your expectations. If you're not getting enough done, have a look in terms of why you're not doing it. But don't disappoint yourself, because disappointing yourself and breaking your own promises is literally the cornerstone of staying stuck. You have got to show up and do what you say you're going to do. Learn how to say no to the things that don't serve you. It's actually really liberating when you can say no. And one quote that I heard recently was that your automatic default should be no. You should always just say no until you think about it and think, will this serve me? Will this benefit me in life? Does this help me? And then you can decide whether you're going to change that no to a yes. And this is something where as your time becomes more precious, when you're investing it into you, your fitness, your self-development, your career, your loved ones, if people start asking things of you, just immediately think, I'm going to say no. And then after that, it's like, actually, would I like to do this? And then you can say yes, right? But if you're someone who's been a chronic people pleaser, the reason why you keep saying yes is because you're trying to get them to like you. Because if you say yes, you think that they'll like you more. It's not true. Just because you say yes to someone doesn't mean that they're going to like you more. People will like you if you're confident, if you're a good person, you're kind-hearted. You're not being unkind by saying, hey, I'm actually not going to work late tonight because I need to get to the gym so that I can be the healthiest, happiest version of myself and perform well at work tomorrow. Or so that I can be a good, healthy, fit parent. In fact, that's pretty respectable. The only reason why someone might be upset at that is if you're not doing something that's going to serve them because they're being selfish. Maybe your boss is pissed off because he's like, well, what am I meant to do now? Because I don't want to stay late, or because I've got myself into this shit situation, or because I should have been more prepared, right? That's because it's not serving them. But don't worry about them. You're living this life for you. Everything that you do is for you and your true happiness. And if you can stick to your boundaries and say, that's not actually serving me, that's not what I want to do, and the people around you don't respect that, then they're people who probably don't want the best for you. Let me say that again. If there's people that don't respect your boundaries, they do not want what is best for you, because everyone who loves you and truly cares about you will respect your boundaries and will appreciate the reason that you've got them in place is so that you can be the best and most happy version of you. So do not allow people to walk on those boundaries, okay? Start saying no more than you say yes. You cannot rely on anyone else to be happy. I spent years doing this because I was never truly happy in myself. And then let's say someone was nice to me, whether it's a friend, whether it's a partner. When someone starts to give you validation, you start to basically use them as this emotional crutch. Like, oh my goodness, they're giving me validation, they're giving me happiness, they're allowing me to have these experiences that I wouldn't have had otherwise because you don't love yourself or because you wouldn't have been happy enough to do these experiences. This is me coming from the place of now having such a complete life when it comes to I love my work, I love my fitness goals, I have the most incredible group of friends. I have anything and everything that I could possibly need truly to, within just me, myself, be happy. And I don't need anyone else to provide me with anything. And that's a really powerful place to be, because anyone who doesn't actually add to your life doesn't need to be there. Whereas when you're in a position of lack, you haven't got fulfillment from work, you haven't got fulfillment from your purpose, your friends, your relationships, then if something good comes along or someone good comes along, you put so much of your happiness on them, from them validating you, telling you that you're pretty, telling you that you're successful, telling you that you're smart, telling you that you look good enough. Like, you use everything that that person is telling you to validate yourself and to try and derive confidence from that. But what if that washed away? You'd still be unconfident. And also, how dare you put your happiness on someone else? Your happiness is your own responsibility. You can't expect someone else to be there to deliver happiness to you all the time. So please be honest with yourself and think, am I truly happy within me with who I am? Or am I relying on other people to say things that make me feel good? Because when you come from a place of self-worth where you just feel so happy and proud and content with who you are, you'll never need anyone to say that you're enough or that you're good enough, because you know inside that you are. But if you don't feel good enough yet, then go and do the damn work. And it might feel like a bit of a lonely chapter where you have to cut people off and set boundaries as you change. I remember when I started going to the gym, when I started training hard, when I started saying no to going out all the time, when I started to do late nights in the library at university, when I stopped seeing friends as much, when I was trying to build my business and I was prepping for my bodybuilding show, I didn't see anyone for months and months and months. And Chris Williamson talks about this lonely chapter where you're not quite where in the group of people that you aspire to be like, but you've left your old friends behind and you're in the middle as you go through this transition and you don't really have anyone. It's lonely as fuck. It really is. But when you get through to the other side and then you start being friends with the people who you dreamed of being friends with at one point, or you never even imagined that it could happen, it is so liberating, so liberating. And it's worth pushing through. That's for sure. Don't settle for good enough, because good enough is never good enough. I see people in relationships that they're not truly happy with. I see people in bodies that they're not truly happy with. And they're kind of like, oh, it's okay. It is what it is. It's good enough. But that good enough one day will not be enough. Or that good enough one day will be a what if. I would rather, what if I did the hard work and took the risk and saw what was on the other side, and maybe I make a mistake, or maybe it's too hard and I quit and I fail, than a what if I never tried. And this is coming from someone who has made such huge decisions that have uprooted my life time and time again. And every single time there's been that gut feeling of, I don't feel like this is good enough, I'm going to make a change. It's always been the right thing to do. So please don't settle. Anything at this point in your life where you feel you're just stuck, whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship, whether it's where you've got up to in your fitness journey, whether it's your personal development, your growth journey. If you feel like there's nowhere to improve, you're not looking hard enough, right? Or if you feel like it's good enough for now, your future price is going to have, your future self is going to have a big price to pay for you settling. Finally, invest in your skills. I exponentially grew in confidence when I had a mentor there to look after me, tell me what to do, and to show me the way. There's nothing better than someone who you admire, someone who you're so inspired by, say, you did such a good job. That is incredible. Look at the progress you have made. In fact, that reminds me, just yesterday, one of my mindset mentors, I had a call with her and we spoke about what had happened in the last 30 days of some personal development that I've been working on from a mindset perspective. And just as I was telling her what I'd achieved, I saw her like jaw dropping and hitting the ground. And she was like, that is ridiculous. And then I thought to myself, that is ridiculous. Oh my goodness, I've done that. I've achieved that. But until I had that call and sat down with her and we did all this work, and rewired my brain and did all of these changes in thinking patterns. And until we did that, that wouldn't have been the case, that I would have been able to sit down, make that achievement and reflect on it. So you just can't do it alone. I'm sorry, but like I've said this time and time again, you cannot truly touch the ceiling of incredible success and happiness in whatever area it is without a mentor. You just can't. Like, you don't know everything. You're not an expert at it. There's always going to be someone who knows more and who's going to be there to guide you more and to celebrate with you more than you. There is nothing better and more fulfilling in my world than having our clients say to me, look at what I did. Having clients who were overweight, on the brink of having chronic illnesses, sending me a message to say, I've just fitted into a size small. I've just ran 5 kilometers in under 30 minutes. To the women who had panic attacks and were terrified going into the gym, literally strutting around in a sports bra, feeling so confident, getting in front of a camera, doing a lingerie shoot. Like, nothing is ever going to take that away from me as a mentor about how happy it makes me feel, but also how much I'm going to gas them up for having achieved that, because they did the work. But would they have done the work? Would they have risked the feeling of fear, the feeling of discomfort, to get to that position where they've made such a huge change without a mentor challenging them and saying, hey, I know you can do a little bit better. I know that you can do this. Come on. Like, I'm watching over you. I'm here. If you fall, I'll be here to catch you. I'll be here to guide you. Come on, let's do it. Would they have got as far? I don't think so. And I know so that I never, ever would have got as far in my own life, in all the areas that I've progressed, without mentors. So don't do it alone. And anything that I've spoken about that builds confidence is ultimately going to be far easier and far more of an enjoyable journey if you've got a good mentor. So I'm going to recap here, guys. The 10 confidence hacks that have changed my life forever and that will change your life forever. Do hard things every day. Take responsibility for everything. Fix your deepest, darkest problems. Get into amazing shape. Oh, and by the way, if you want to get into amazing shape, I recently recorded an episode which was all about how you can lose body fat fast. You can lose up to 10 pounds in 30 days. So go and check that one out, episode number 9. Do what you say you're going to do. Learn how to say no. Don't rely on anyone else to be happy. Stop seeking validation. Do not settle for good enough, and invest into your skills. Confidence is built through action, through discipline, through doing what you say you're going to do, through showing up for yourself, and through ultimately accomplishing and achieving things. Confidence is not a destination. It's a journey. It's a journey of achieving things. So I'm wishing you all the best on your journey to confidence. And if you do have any questions off the back of this episode, don't hesitate to drop me a message. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Much love.